Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to your February 2025 forecast. I hope you're doing great. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. We're going to be taking a look at all of the twists, turns, and opportunities that this new month is providing for you. And let's begin with channeled messages. As I was tuning into your sign today, I saw an image of an evergreen tree. And the main difference between an evergreen and other varieties basically is that the leaves are on all year long. And so that represents stability, permanence, and like if we were to compare this with a relationship, an evergreen versus a tree that loses its leaves, the evergreen tree is there through thick and thin, rain or shine. And when we're looking at like personal development, the projects that you might be working on, the things that you might be learning, it's also kind of being discerning and thinking, is this something that will stand the test of time? So when we shuffle the cards here in just a moment, that's what I want to look at. Is it worth it on a long-term sort of scale to put your time and your energy into a person, place, or thing? Will it pay off? Is it going to be that rain or shine, evergreen energy that I was seeing? Let's shuffle the cards and see what comes through. All right, take a moment, if you will, close your eyes and see yourself in the forest. Let's imagine that you are surrounded by a circle of beautiful pine trees, and above you, you can see the moon shining down, creating a beautiful circle of silver light around your body. In this circle, you are safe, and let's call in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. All right, let's give the cards a shuffle and see what's in store for the month of February. Already, we can see some major changes are coming forth. All right, let's begin with your catalyst card. You received the crocodile, and it's reversed. So there's some of these that we want to pull back from. There's some that you might want to engage with. So the aggression piece, this actually makes a lot of sense. Let's focus on that first. So right by the catalyst is the strength card. On the strength card, we can see someone kind of like putting their hands in the mouth of someone else. I like to sometimes interpret the strength card almost like a ventriloquist, where they're trying to get you to say what they want you to say or do what they want you to do, and that's not necessarily what you want. So this is standing up to that, pushing back and saying, no, that's not what we agreed to, or no, I don't want to do that. Now, the other things on this card, you may actually want to think twice. So the waiting piece, this is about patience sometimes. So we want to avoid impatience, but if you've waited too long for something, the crocodile is going to speak up and say, hey, how are we doing? Where is this at? Why is it taking so long? Sometimes we have to speak up. And then the awareness. You may just be starting to wake up to something. So that's how I'm going to read this one in reverse, that there may be someone in your life that you need to push back because they're overly aggressive, that you may be tired of waiting, but you don't want to act hastily. You just want to bring awareness to the situation and be aware of what's coming forth yourself as well. And again, speak up, speak often, ask questions if needed. All right, let's take a look at the overall spread and see what's going on here. Definitely a chance to step back from something stressful or something that doesn't feel right, because we have the Ten of Swords in reverse, which is healing and letting go of that. It looks like it's more mental. We have a change that's been brewing for a while, but the question, and we'll answer it as we look at the cards, is have you sort of like embraced it? Ultimately, we see you going into a place of wisdom. We also see that you're starting to let go of stress overall in your life. Find your voice, find some support. I like the overall spread. Are there some challenges? Of course there are, but that's why I'm here to help you out. And I always like to read from an empowerment point of view. There are no bad cards. They are just there to help us see things. So I always like to reiterate that. Let's start off with the Ten of Swords. So this is one of the most brilliant illustrations because sometimes the Ten of Swords is here and in here. And that's what this card is representing. She is feeling the effects of other people's criticism. She could also be building up a sort of perfectionist-based stress where she's thinking, what if I don't do what I'm supposed to? What if I fail? So I always like to turn it around in a positive trajectory and say, look, what if you succeed? What if you surpass your expectation and others? You never know until you try, and all you can do is your best. If it's not good enough, so be it. The other thing with the Ten of Swords in reverse is it's saying, I know now that I don't want this. It either makes me unhappy or it might be unhealthy, whatever the sort of situation is. The knowing is just as important, knowing what you don't want, because it helps you pay attention to maybe some things that could bring in happiness, stability, that evergreen energy that we talked about at the beginning. Because all of those sort of like pins are pointing at her head, we actually get a health message right off the bat, which is for some of you, there could be headaches, migraines, or just difficulty in getting to sleep at night. And we actually have it manifesting in hopes and fears. Right here, Nine of Swords can be sleeplessness. And again, it's the projections. I really feel like most of this is from external sources, not so much internal. So if it is based on things that are going on in the world at large, or at work, or in your family, there's only so much you can do to affect and to heal that. You have to take care of yourself first, then figure out how, where, and how often you're going to try to, address some of those other things. Focus on you first, okay? Crossing this card, we have the snail in the chariot. I love this. This particular illustration is reminding you that it's not how quickly, it's how well you get something done. So sometimes the first to finish has to go back 2 or 3 times to fix it because it's sloppy, it's not well put together. We see this now more and more, even in like software or anything that's released. People will fix it later. That just creates a lack of trust and problems. This card is saying, take your time, do it slow, do it steady, do it completely, and do it once. So much easier than having to go back and sort of like continue to fix it. So this is also true with construction. Build it right the first time and you don't have as much stress. This is also a card of management, and it's saying there's no rush in this as well. Like, really make sure that there is time and care and one-on-one energy. If you actually have a business or if you're trying to create something, spend some time with the people that are actually working or creating, working on or creating whatever it is you're trying to do. This is going to pay off in the long run. And then, even though we're on the chariot, this also connects to like Nine of Pentacles because of the snail. Slow and steady gives you that sense of evergreen energy, which is sustainable, which is predictable, which is there to stand the test of time. There could be some challenges, folks, between your authority and someone else's, but first things first, let's look at this. We have the Death card in the deep past. And in the deep past, this shows that for some of you, something has already come to pass, whether it's a relationship, maybe you lost someone, maybe you lost material items. I come from California and there's a lot of fires there and a lot of people are mourning the loss of the house, the belongings, the neighborhood. And so it can be a place, it can be a person, it can be a way of thinking. It doesn't always have to be negative or difficult though. Sometimes we just move on and we kind of level up. So for many of you this month, this could be your opportunity to level up because death is also rebirth. And I view it as a doorway. So you're shutting one door, but the other one opens in front of you. And something bigger, better, and brighter is usually waiting on the other side. There could be a wake-up call to take better care of yourself. Death card and judgment often have to do with a close call, sometimes a brush with death. And so we decide from that experience, enough now. I'm going to focus on the most important thing, my health and well-being. Without that firm foundation, everything else is a house of cards. And it's just time. It feels like some of you have been sitting on a decision to do something for a minute or two. Now is the time to take the first step. You don't have to rush. We have this slow and steady card, but it is time to take action. All right, let's talk about this. There could even be 2 or 3 people. Actually, I see it here because we have the Emperor, we have the Chariot, and we have the Strength card. And then in the middle of all this is some argument. You're trying to make, some of you, you're a peacekeeper. So this is you, and these are the people around you. There's only so much you can do. If your parents are arguing, if your friends are arguing, if your family, neighbors, don't get caught in the middle. Unless they ask you for your advice, also hold back. Because Ten of Swords can also be, oh, I wish I could have, can I unsay that? Can I undo that? It's not like a Control-Z situation where you actually can. So I would say here, let them sort it out. Let them argue it out. You focus on doing something else. So I definitely get that component. Now let's talk about strength in a different, sort of more holistic way. Taking better care of your body, because maybe there was a wake-up call. Maybe you're trying to break a familial habit with some sort of a health issue. So strength training, eating and drinking and exercising in a way that is appropriate for your body, which of course, standard disclaimer applies. I'm not a doctor. You're going to work with a professional to figure that out. All right. The other thing with the strength card is really, is it worth it sometimes to try to push through something? You can win with the strength card, but at a cost. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of energy, and sometimes it just isn't worth it. So this is really asking you to focus on what is the energetic cost for, quote unquote, winning or pushing something through. It may be worth not doing it if you kind of look at the sort of more holistic view. But really, I'm looking at this as a chance for you to find your strength and also to find your voice, because we have the King of Swords over here. So many court cards, so many power cards. This is you sort of finding your power and maybe being able to stand up in a room of people that talk a lot or are movers and shakers and hold your own. Slow and steady. Don't be the first to speak, but be the wisest to speak. I think that's the important thing here. We have the King of Pentacles in the crowning position. In this month in particular, you can start to see growth and development in your life. Leadership is part of this as well. So focus on really doing things where you see energetic return, where you feel grounded in this approach, and don't be afraid to ask about money, time, budget, things of that nature. This is one of the best cards for leveling up, again, when it comes to all things important in the area of resources. So far, that's actually what I'm getting here is changes, but leveling up. It's time for an upgrade. It's time for a new version of you and a brand new clean slate. In the near future, we're going from divine feminine to divine masculine to like now one of the top cards here in the major arcana, the Emperor card. So this is your chance to be the one that calls the shots. He's pulling the strings here. But we can look at this in two different facets. One is that a good leader gives people plenty of space and freedom also to take care of themselves. This month is really important if you are in a leadership position or even just a parent to not have to micromanage all the time. There might be someone else that you can delegate to, or you might actually just test the trust out with someone in your life and say, I'm going to count on you for this. If you need help, ask. If I don't hear from you, I'm going to assume everything's okay. So you could be setting up the expectations and allowing someone to rise to the occasion. So not only will you level up, but so will someone else. Sometimes when we continue to kind of like have a codependent relationship, or we keep over nurturing someone, they never find the sort of inner strength until later. So let's encourage people to be also strong and ambitious and self-sufficient, all the things that I'm sort of seeing in this spread for you. This is a really good month for you so far. The biggest challenge is this, leaning into the change. But then and letting go of the stress and not getting caught in the middle. But once you do that, if we take that out, then you have change, your own personal strength and tenacity. You have the ability to create resources and lead the charge. It's all good. Stress management is key, and not letting things escape your mouth. Because the crocodile and the Ten of Swords are definitely connected. They're cousins in this particular spread. So we want to make sure that when we say something, we're okay with saying it and with other people hearing it. Okay, you're coming through in a very favorable light. The Lovers. The Lovers is in reverse. Some of you may be still questioning or doubting why people see certain qualities in you that you don't see in yourself. Sometimes we're too biased, including like in our own life. We think, oh, I don't know if I can do it. And someone says, wait a second, you're doing great. Don't second guess that. If you get a compliment and it's from someone who's grounded and kind and doesn't just hand them out, I'm seeing that it's accurate. The Lovers in reverse is also about being discerning, not accepting something that doesn't meet your criteria. So it's okay to hold back a little bit and ask yourself, is it good enough? Is it what I want? Do I like this? It is worth noting that the Lovers isn't just about finding romance. It's also just all levels of partnership. So some of you may be meeting a new connection that can help you in your career. You could have a great connection at work that helps you level up there. You could also just be getting more involved in the community and feeling the love because you're doing something that matters, maybe through like volunteer work. However you want to put your energy out there, people love what you're offering. And we see that here in the environment. King of Swords energy coming through. You may be tapped on the shoulder and asked to speak publicly or show someone something, or, hey, can you help out with this? Your expertise is needed. So are you ready to rise to the occasion? Public speaking is definitely a part of the King of Swords. Just using your voice is also important. So if anything feels really good or doesn't feel really good, articulate that so that you can either change it or go with it. And I do get a sense of the first person that speaks sometimes is the one that gets the opportunity. So trust in yourself this month, especially since we had the Lovers card there representing you. This is a time to truly lean into your power and lean into your voice. We talked about this earlier. It is in hopes, fears, and opportunities. The opportunity is to avoid this. Nine of Swords is sometimes letting stress build up to the point that you can't sleep, can't concentrate, or that it kind of ends up going one level deeper into the Ten of Swords. So let's pull back from both of these cards because you have so much to gain this month. Some of you are just saying, hey, Nicholas, I want to step back and focus on myself. Go for it. We have the Hermit card in the outcome, but this card is reversed. So it's saying for a certain amount of time, do what you need to do, kind of go into your own space for a bit. But ultimately, this card is a lighthouse. People are looking for your insight and they like what they see. They like what they hear. This is a chance to really use your voice and to take some action and to make some changes happen. Let's drill a little bit deeper into these categories: health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to start off with health first, which is your mind, body, and spirit. So the oracle card here is the Page of Wands in reverse. Take some time, slow down, really tune in and ask yourself what it is that you want. This is introspective. Meditation, envisioning, dreaming, all of the sort of big things that we don't always give ourselves time to do. Set some time in your schedule just to be still. I have friends in my life that can't have the quiet or the stillness. They always have to go or travel or have something on their schedule. This month, if that kind of sounds like you, do yourself a favor, and even if it's just like 10 or 15 minutes a day, give yourself some unstructured time, and whatever comes forth is fine. Meditation isn't about necessarily clearing everything in your head. Sometimes it's about processing it. Sometimes it's about allowing new things to come through from your higher self. It's not just about Zen. Do the work this month. You'll eventually get to the Zen, but we have to go through and kind of clean the cobwebs. And I'm getting the mental cobwebs for sure, especially because we have both the Nine and the Ten of Swords. I think that the biggest challenge from a health perspective is how to cope with stress and how to not sort of meet fire with fire. So if these two people around you are headed in different directions, maybe it's work or family or something, you can just extract yourself and slow down before you say something. Let them do it. Observe, listen, wait, then speak. It will save you so much time in the long run. I do feel like that there may be something that needs to be changed from a habitual sort of perspective. Some habit no longer serves you. It could be an addiction, but it could also just simply be you've gotten into a rut in exercise or in something else. And in order to deal with some of these other things, you have to change something in your life. This is a great time to focus on your body. Again, exercising, meditating, eating well. This is a good time also for you to focus on leaning on the people that want to support you. So if someone says, can I help? Say yes. You don't have to say yes all the time, but it's really powerful when you allow someone to help you. This is something I like to walk the walk and talk the talk. So in order to get some clarity and some distance and some healing from all this stuff going on in Los Angeles, I'm staying at a few friends' houses and some family members as I'm kind of spending a month and a half away from LA. And it's been so nice just to allow people to assist and be there. It's not something that I do all the time, but I'm like, why haven't I done this more? It actually is really healing. All of a sudden, I feel like I'm back to my old self. So if you're in a tough point in your life, you lost someone, you lost something, you've been through something, you don't have to do this alone. You can if you want to. I see that you're strong, but a sign of strength is sometimes allowing people to love you. Let people love you. Ask for help if you need it. Sometimes I read the comments and people are like, well, where are these resources, Nicholas? Well, sometimes we have to seek them out too. It could be a therapist, it could be a mentor, it could be some sort of a community offering as well. So if it's not already in your circle of friends and family, now is the time to get out there and see if you can find some support, okay? Other things, sleep quality and sleep quantity. Everybody's kind of unique in this category. Some of us need more sleep, some of us need less. But what I'm also getting here is pay attention to even like the position of your body while you're sleeping. It can actually cause pains, aches and pains. I had something the other night that happened where I was like, oh, why is this happening? And I talked to a friend that was a kind of a medical intuitive. They're like, it's how you're sleeping. That didn't just come out of nowhere. And so I paid special attention last night to the way that I was sleeping, and it went away today. So sometimes the position, the time at which you go to sleep, also the habits before you go to sleep, like how much you're drinking, water or caffeine, what you're listening to on the news. Pay attention to all of that and see if you can't find a little bit better quality when it comes to your sleep. And then I'd love to see some more exercise in the mix here. There's a lot of seated cards with all the court cards here. So getting out and moving, meditating and spiritual development for sure. Maybe just having a little bit of you time. That is why the Hermit comes through sometimes. All of these things can help you get onto a healthier path. Let's go ahead and move to the next category, which is wealth. In the area of wealth, we have the Wheel of Fortune. Fantastic. It's reversed, so it's a change of cycle. Some of you have stayed a little bit longer than you need to or should be staying in a particular job, class, situation, etc. The Wheel of Fortune keeps turning, so we're just going to shift it into the upright position by what? Making a overdue and necessary change. That's what death represents. Some of you are also just tired of something and you're ready to move into a new trajectory. Let's break it down into a little bit more granular view here. I have 5 subcategories, so let me shuffle and then we'll talk. All right, so we'll start off with those of you that are currently employed. Then we're going to look at entrepreneurs. We'll focus then on job seekers. Then we're going to take a look at students, and finally, retirees. Okay, let's begin with those that are already employed. Easy does it, one step at a time. Finding balance in everything, temperance. Patience, slow and steady approach. All of these things are coming through with the temperance angel. Typically, there is a path behind her. The path is blocked right now, but that doesn't mean the path isn't there. So you may need to ask some questions like, how, maybe even it's just sort of like, what's our long-term goal so that you can see where that path is. You may also be the voice of reason in a room where, again, some people may be over speaking or, kind of like getting in each other's way. So rather than trying to pick a side, set parameters. Give people time limits if this is like, again, a regular office. Say, okay, we need to let someone else speak. We're going to put this on the whiteboard, like kind of a facilitator. It doesn't have to be you, but there needs to be facilitation for sure. And then just everything in moderation, including your work. Let's see if there's anything else in the general spread here that requires attention. I mentioned here to elevate all communication, really avoid getting into an argument. There's a lot of people with distinct ways of doing things. I see no less than like 3 leaders kind of popping up, plus you in the mix. So not everyone can get their way. We're going to have to look at the fine art of compromise this month. And you do have what it takes to speak some logic into this, but don't take on more stress than you need to. And at a certain point, know what can be fixed, know what can't be fixed, and let it go. I think that's pretty much everything for those that are working. Can you manage it? Yes. There's nothing here that's out of control. There's just 2 cards of stress and a lot of voices. So making sure that you maintain your own calm and collected state, and this is going to be really important. Let's move on to those of you that are entrepreneurs. You're looking at restructuring, some of you, from a legal perspective. It doesn't have to be big restructuring. This could actually just be, like for those of you that have an LLC, you could file as an S Corp, and that would require slight documentation changes when it comes to filing taxes. That's more of a US thing, but it could be the structure or the tax structure of your company. You could also be deciding you're done. You want to dissolve something or you want to do something else. This can just be the word no. So if you don't want to go down a certain path, say no, hold your ground. If something isn't legally sort of like on solid ground, please get it sorted out. Make sure that you have all of your files and documents and, again, tax information exactly where it needs to be. We don't want to face this. Justice reverse is something where you're in territory that it's a little shady. So definitely make sure that everything is to the letter and there's no room for questioning there. And it could simply be like you're ready to turn a new leaf or a new corner. And again, that requires a lawyer to help you restructure. Here's what I see for those of you that have your own company. I actually love the group of people that you have, but I think that when it comes to communication and also how much stress people might have on their plate right now, there's definitely some room to equal out the load a little bit. One person may be doing too much, one person may be talking too much. So your job as the person that's overseeing this is to either delegate or reorganize that better or find someone that can manage it. Finding a manager could be really, really good. The other thing here with the Hermit card in the outcome is to find a way to get your company, your messaging out there a little bit more. There may be people that are a little bit more savvy when it comes to marketing and you could learn from them. There may be a chance to also just bubble up all the good work that you've been doing, getting a social media manager or a press agent or something like that to help take the load off of you. All right, let's move on to those of you that might be job seeking right now. What I see when I look at the Eight of Swords is you might have exhausted all the options in one particular space. So this is inviting you to look somewhere else. I look at blindfolded cards as an invitation to think outside of the box. This is a prison of thought. It's sometimes this thought that I can only live here, I can only work here, I can only do this. Who says that? Open yourself up to other options beyond that. So instead ask yourself, what haven't I tried? Would I be open to this? Could I restructure my resume or my skills in such a way that maybe I could learn that? And what I mentioned earlier, it's also opening the opportunity to live different places, work with different people, and try different things. So I see that there's been like a block, but I also see that it isn't a permanent one. It more is like a mental block. Let's look at what's going on. Can you find something? Yes, Wheel of Fortune. It is reversed, so it's saying look in different places. Pay attention to a couple of things when you're looking at jobs. There's at least a couple options where stress is pretty high. Like this is a middle management job where you're stepping into a place where there's already problems, more so than you can probably manage at once. So ask them, how long has it been since you've had someone here? What's the biggest challenge you're facing? Get really inquisitive. I feel like you can find something, but they might be sort of like hiding some of the amount of work that it could take to fix that. The other thing with the Hermit card here in reverse is there might be something unannounced, and the way to get through that is through people that already work there. So look at your current friends, look at their LinkedIn profiles, ask them if they know somebody. I will say this overall, though, it feels like this is an invitation to try something completely different. We have here a challenge or an opportunity to use your voice a little bit more if you're ready to. Entrepreneurial energy all over the place in this spread. So if you've never thought of kind of like going into your own company, now is a great time to look into that. If you're looking for a job, again, get inquisitive and look outside of the sort of like box that you've been focusing on right now. Okay, let's focus on those of you that are students. Ask questions. I was talking to one of my cousins the other day about this. They're going into college, and I said, one of the most important things in a classroom perspective is to sit towards the front, ask some questions, get involved. It's going to allow you to be seen as someone who's engaged. You'll be less likely to be chosen if you don't know an answer because you already participate. But if you don't understand something, raise your hand. This is someone who just doesn't quite get what's going on, or they have a question, or they have something to say. Use your voice. This is a great time to do so. Let's look at some other things here. Some of you may be going back and finishing a degree or program that you stepped away from before. Don't beat yourself up on how long it takes. It doesn't matter. I already said that. It's just how completely you can kind of grasp all of the sort of elements that are coming forth. It's never too late. It's never too early to learn. Stress management is the main thing that's coming forth. Everything else is kind of like amazing here, actually. So just really focus on stress management and lean on support, your counselor, your mentor, and anyone else that might be able to help you out. Finally, if we take a look at those of you that are retired, we have a card here of achieving better balance in your life. We have the Six of Pentacles. It was reversed, and it's about making sure that you're not overextending yourself. Say no if you need to. Really pick and choose where you put your time, your energy, and your attention. There could also be a lot of people that want a piece of your time, and so I can see them here. It could be parents, it could be friends, it could be coworkers. And again, you get to be discerning, you get to be picky here so that you're not feeling that sense of being overwhelmed. Overall, it looks like a pretty good month here with respect to wealth. Let's move on to the next category. We're going to look at love and relationships. So a very interesting and a very powerful card is coming forth here. We have justice in reverse. Speaking up, finding better balance if it doesn't exist, and sometimes walking away and saying no. This can be a card of dissolving something, breaking up, but more often than not, it's finding your voice and achieving balance. Let's get a little bit more granular and break this down into 3 relationship types. We're going to look at those of you in a current relationship. Then we're going to focus on those that are seeking love, followed by anyone who is single and happy. And they're all pretty good, I have to say. We're going to focus first on those of you that are currently in a relationship. Page of Cups, it's pretty good. There is reciprocity coming forth. There's a lot of love here. There could be the birth of a child or something new that you're bringing. This can just be good news, a good announcement, or a party. Are there some challenges? Yes, let's talk about it. Again, don't meet fire with fire because we have both the 10 and the 9 of Swords. You want to slow down, be present, just hold space for the partner. There could be some external stresses coming forth. Maybe, again, a loss of someone or a big change that you're both trying to manage and trying to deal with. So don't take on more than you can. Be there with love and support and an open heart. Overall, it's pretty good. One of the challenges here could be in just being seen and heard. The hermit tends to kind of keep to themselves. Just because your partner doesn't always speak up doesn't mean that they're not listening. Vice versa, just because you're not the communicative one doesn't mean that you're not engaged. But I think it's important to meet in the middle. And if one of the partners has a tendency to be quieter or more withdrawn, now is the time to find a way to be a little bit more outspoken and a little bit more present. Taking a look now at those of you who are looking for love. You can do it. You're more likely to find someone, though, at a place of work, at a volunteer job, at school, while you're doing an activity. This is also just saying keep doing the work on yourself. This is a card of learning. And so, by the way, just taking a class or working on something with a therapist, the internal work that you're doing is going to pay off tenfold. You're going to find someone else who's done the same sort of work because like attracts like. What I see in the environment is someone who has found and knows how to use their voice. I see someone who's walking away from pain and stress like you are. And the thing is, though, there is a little bit of shyness here, so don't be afraid to make the first move. It could be an air sign in your life, but by the way, there are so many people from the past. I see friends, I see family, I see previous love here. You have to kind of be discerning in what it is that you're looking for. So this is also saying get specific. Look at the fine print and figure out who and what you're looking for. Can you find it? Yes. But do take care of yourself. That 10 and 9 of Swords energy means that self-care has to happen first before that partner can come in. Finally, if you're single and happy, you still are very much in the energy of what we talked about earlier, the lovers. We have the 2 of Cups. New friendships, new alliances, new opportunities are knocking. And you can use that 2 of Cups energy in any aspect of your life. But I actually think this is a great time to meet new people if you're open to do that. Finally, let's look at your destiny card. We have the 4 of Pentacles. It is reversed, and it's saying that you're willing now to speak up when something isn't enough. You don't need to pull yourself so thin in all these different directions. We got Justice a couple of times, right? So we got it as one of your expanded cards, and then we got it as one of the granular cards. Both times, it was reversed, which is saying there needs to be more receiving. You've been giving a lot. It's okay to receive now, and I think that's a big recalibrating moment. And if something is just convenient or just there, it still may not be good enough. So we're walking away from something just because it's safe, just because it's predictable. The devil that you know is still the devil, so it's time for an upgrade. Let's move on to your final card for today. This can be anything that you still need some clarity on. Go ahead and formulate that question. I'm going to shuffle the cards and we'll see what's coming through. All right, this is a definite yes. So this is literally wish fulfillment. So if you ask me a yes or no, it's a yes. The power of optimism can take you the distance. Try to find that happy medium between like best day ever and worst day ever, and find like your grounding. And this positive approach is going to help you really not sort of like kind of get bummed out when something doesn't go your way. You can always find the silver lining. As a general note, again, not going to extremes, when we're looking at anything in your life, it could actually be working, drinking, eating, exercising, etc. This is also saying occasionally you can have some fun and go a little bit over, but moderation is the way to win the race as well. But some sort of celebration is coming forth. This is also just the power of gratitude. Attitude and gratitude can completely change your trajectory and can also switch the scales in the right position and the wheel of fortune in the right position. All right, folks, that's everything for this month. Looking one last time at the evergreen energy, I think what we're really seeing here is your ability to know when to speak and when to kind of like pull back. I think it's about not working yourself to exhaustion. And when I'm looking at this expanded forecast, it looks like there's a lot of things that can happen right now in personal development. You may need to change the scales a little bit when it comes to love in your life and make sure that everybody is doing their fair share. But if you do that, you'll have more than enough for the future and for the long game, as we talked about. All right, everybody, that is the reading for this month. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, do me a favor, like and subscribe, hit the bell, leave me a comment, and let me know what resonated most. You can also give me a follow on social media. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all the major platforms. I'm also on emerging platforms like Blue Sky, where it's nicholasashbaugh.com. That, by the way, is also my website, so if you want more information about me, you can take a look at that there. Remember, you can also give back through Super Stickers, Super Chat, and through memberships. And just a quick reminder that I don't give private readings. So if you ever see somebody do that, be safe, stay smart, let me know about it so I can also take care of it. And that, my friends, is everything. Let's bring Apollo up for the end as I say thank you. And he's already behind me. He's like, Dad, I'm ready. Thank you so much for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. I wish you guys all the best. If you haven't already checked out my podcast, please take a look. It's featured on my main channel page. And until I see you again, wishing you all the best. Take care. Bye-bye.